Let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, do you truly enjoy what you think you enjoy? Every time you reach for your phone and scroll mindlessly, every time you open yet another tab to consume something that, deep down, doesn't even interest you, who is truly being fulfilled in these moments? Is it you or the system that has conditioned your desires? The truth is, you've been programmed not to seek fulfillment, but to chase fleeting pleasures. And here's the paradox. The more you chase, the further it slips from your grasp. We live in a time where satisfaction is always within reach, yet never quite enough. Aldous Huxley foresaw this nearly a century ago. He warned us that true control wouldn't lie in oppression, but in distraction. He envisioned a world where books would no longer need to be banned because no one would care to read. A world where the truth wouldn't need to be concealed because it would be buried beneath mountains of irrelevance. This is the world we inhabit now, the world where every desire is fulfilled in an instant, but emptiness multiplies in proportion. The world where pleasure is no longer a reward, but a tool of control. You think you're free because you can choose what to consume, but who is truly making those choices when every option has been designed to ensnare you? Every notification, every flicker of color, every buzz is a trap, cloaked as entertainment. Pleasure, once a natural expression of life, has now become a mechanism of control. They don't need to repress us. They simply keep us entertained, distracted, and ultimately numb. We live in a paradox. Pleasure, once a simple joy, has become an addiction. It's no longer about what satisfies us, but about the chase itself. Food has transformed into dopamine, sugar, and fat, replacing genuine nourishment. Social media is no longer about connection, but about fleeting validation. Content has become anesthetic to the mind, a distraction that numbs rather than nourishes. The lie we've been sold is that pleasure is the purpose of life. But what if, in truth, it is the poison? What Huxley warned of has come to pass. Pleasure, in all its forms, has weakened our capacity for true fulfillment. Children no longer sit with a book, but spend hours immersed in ephemeral 5-second videos. Adults, once capable of sitting in silence, now fear the void. Relationships fall apart because we no longer want to put in the effort when instant gratification is just a click away. Pleasure, in its most effortless form, erodes our ability to engage with what truly matters. Pleasure, at its core, isn't the enemy. The enemy is the way we've been conditioned to seek it. We've been taught that life must always be stimulating, always pleasurable, always easy. And now, when faced with struggle, we feel as though something is wrong. When studying isn't enjoyable, we abandon it. When relationships face challenges, we discard them. If a project requires sustained effort with no instant reward, we push it aside. We've been conditioned to flee discomfort, to avoid silence, and in doing so, we've lost our ability to grow. The paradox is clear. The easier it is to obtain pleasure, the harder it is to find happiness. The problem isn't pleasure itself, but the ease with which we obtain it. Every instant gratification weakens the foundation of real satisfaction. Pleasure has become a form of enslavement, keeping us distracted while life passes by. It keeps us addicted, endlessly searching for something that will never fill the void within us. The question is no longer whether pleasure is the problem. It's whether we will continue paying the price for it. The true trap, however, isn't simply addiction. It's the illusion that we need it, that happiness itself resides in the chase. No one taught us to endure boredom, to sit in silence, or to wrestle with the void. No one prepared us for the reality that life, in its truest form, is not a series of exciting moments, but a progression of struggles that shape us. The modern world has tricked us into thinking that discomfort is a mistake, that the void is to be feared. But discomfort is the very seed of growth. Struggle, sacrifice, and effort, they are the foundations of anything worth having. Yet, we've been taught to avoid them, to pursue only what feels easy. And so we find ourselves in a world where pleasure, far from making us free, makes us weaker. We seek distraction, not meaning. We chase instant gratification, but lose the ability to delay it, to build something real. In doing so, we lose our power to grow, to question, to live authentically. For the moment we give in to the cycle of fleeting pleasure, we lose our ability to create, to truly engage with life. A world of instant pleasure becomes a world where nothing has value. The question is simple. Are you the master of your mind, or have you become a slave to your desires? The first step in reclaiming freedom is understanding the real cost of pleasure. It's not enough to recognize the addiction. We must resist it consciously. If you can master your desire for instant gratification, you can reclaim your life. If you can endure boredom, you can learn to think deeply again. Because in the end, pleasure is not the enemy. The true danger lies in the weakness it creates when we allow it to govern our lives. Consider the next time you're tempted to distract yourself. Who is in control? Is it you or the system that has shaped your desires? If you find yourself constantly chasing, ask yourself, why? In every decision, in every moment of discomfort, in every act of restraint, you train your mind to be the master of itself. And in doing so, you reclaim your power. If you can learn to resist the pull of immediate gratification, to reject what's easy, and to embrace what's meaningful, you'll find something deeper waiting on the other side, something far more fulfilling than the fleeting pleasures we're told to chase. The question, then, isn't whether you'll fall into this trap again. It's what you will do with this understanding. Will you continue in the cycle, or will you choose to break free? The real battle is not in the external world. It's in the internal struggle for control. The people who succeed, who build something meaningful in this world, are not those who seek the easiest path. They are the ones who master the art of self-control, the ones who endure hardship to create something of lasting value. So here's the challenge. The next time you feel the urge to seek distraction, to chase instant pleasure, stop. Observe the impulse. Recognize it for what it is, a chain designed to keep you from your true self. And then, make a choice. By learning to delay the easy, you begin to train your mind to regain your power. It won't be easy, but over time, you'll discover that you are not like the rest. You don't need constant validation. You don't need instant gratification. You are free, not because you can choose from infinite options, but because you no longer need them. When you break free from the cycle, when you regain control over your desires, pleasure stops being a prison. It becomes what it was always meant to be, a reward, not a constant demand. So I ask you, will you continue being a slave to the moment, or will you take back control? Because if you can master your desires, you can truly live. And that, my friend, is the path to freedom.